It's you and Ellery here making bonsai in Australia, and in this video I'm going to be doing a bit of an update on a few ficus and my Japanese juniper. So it has been a while since I posted a video. Last year I was studying, so I put it on a little bit of the back burner, so I hope you forgive me for that. A lot of my bonsai I've had been sitting them, watering them, occasionally repotting, but I haven't had a huge amount of maintenance over that period. So this one really needs just a fair bit of pruning. So I have actually had a look to see whether it needs a repotting. See, it's still not fully root bound. There's a fair bit of room there for those roots to continue to grow. So it will stay nice and healthy until maybe spring next year. So given it's the middle of summer now, won't do anything drastic to it, but I will start pruning it and just trying to make sure that it doesn't become overgrown and doesn't start to grow out of profile or where I want it to go. So, start working on this one now. Alright, so that's obviously the front profile of the tree right there. So I've got my kind of apex coming up here now. There's a lot of the branches here that I will keep. Abnormally, a lot of the vigor has actually gone into the lower branch, so there's not a huge amount that I need to kind of worry about here. So I'm just going to get in here, and all I'm doing, just getting rid of a lot of the small branches that are coming out and growing down from these trunk branches, and get rid of the ones that are growing straight up as well. Just hoping to have these branches kind of spread out on more of a flat plane before they branch out into the branch pads. And leaving the ones that can kind of flay out to become their own little branch pads in future. The branch at the back here, which is kind of coming up behind that, you can't properly see define the what's behind it. It just makes it harder to distinguish the individual branch pads. So just getting rid of that large part that was sticking up, and again, getting rid of the ones that are sticking up and down. And getting rid of that big part, which was the thickest part of this branch too, just reinforces the taper that I want. Right, it's not a huge amount back here. Now I could be leaving a couple of the ones that are kind of sticking up, just so that I could wire them down and back into profile. However, there's a fair bit for me to kind of work with, and a fair few well placed, but are in good positions, so I don't really need to worry too much about wiring it at the moment. You can kind of let these really small branches grow and then move them into position in the future if need be. Right, so there's a branch here that's kind of, there's a little part that's kind of sticking out here, and there's another one here which is weirdly kind of wrapping around directly in front of the trunk profile. So I could wire back that thicker part, but the smaller part again is heading in a direction that I can use, so I'll keep that. I won't prune off those small little bits for now. I'm just going to leave all of those little parts in this tiny little section, just so that I'm not reducing all the bigger. It's got enough leaves there to get energy flowing up through the roots, and hopefully that'll grow a lot larger and kind of even out closer to some of these other branches with a bit of time. We'll prune off some of these, especially the ones that are kind of on the inside of the curve in the trunk. So I might leave a couple options, so that I could either have this one here as a leader in the future, or this one that's a little bit further out to have a bit more of a dramatic flare. So I might just leave both of those for now, but clear off some of the extra foliage on the current apex. There's 2 more branches down the bottom. So a little tiny branch just coming up on the inside of that curve on the main trunk there. So get rid of that. Alright, so this branch here is coming a little bit out of profile from the rest of this. Realistically, this current apex is a little bit as well, so yeah, so I might actually prune this back to this part which is coming up here now. Yeah, so that just brings it into profile a lot better. Could have used that as a bit of a gin, but yeah, it's a bit small. It's probably not worthwhile. This one I'll just prune back into a bit of a better profile as well. And perhaps the same for up here. So now for this lower trunk. So there's a few bits that are kind of growing right off the top of where the trunk kind of started. This cascade branch heads down, so get rid of some of all the clumpy growth here. Just open that up so you can see it a little bit better. Now this little branch here, I've half a mind to leave, so prune back this one that's sticking straight up, that's a bit lower, just so you can see it a bit clearer. It's kind of, you know, in terms of the spacing of the other branches, it kind of fills an open spot, so I'll leave it there for now. It may end up being a sacrificial branch just to get a bit of better taper in this part of the trunk. But for now, I think it fulfills a purpose. So I'll just get rid of, similar to what I've done for the rest, just some of those branches that are growing up and down, just to flatten that out a bit. But yeah, I'll let that grow out a bit. It's kind of in flow with the general profile, but I will just prune it slightly shorter. So I'm just going to move the camera just so we can see the bottom part here. Alright, so yeah, quite a lot of vigour has been growing into this part of the trunk. So yeah, definitely don't need all of that. We'll just start to slowly work away though at some of these branches, just to clear it up and open it up a bit before I make any drastic moves in terms of lopping off the end. So there's a lot of pads, just branches coming out just below, which kind of come in different. They're all kind of coming out the exact same spot in terms of, you know, the front view, so directly back or directly forwards, which makes it a little bit harder for me to kind of determine straight away as to how I want to play with them. So I'm just trying to clear it up a little bit and then just see if I need to do much wiring. Alright, and there's a branch coming out of there, which like a nice little section which I might leave as the new leader. So I can get rid of this part, which I might even be lucky enough to grow it from cutting. And then there's a whole bunch of little small branches, so trying to clear off some of the excess ones. So this one's kind of moving. There's a nice large branch there which I could wire, but it's going to be a bit harder to wire. I need slightly thicker wire anyway, but it's also kind of impeding the view of the trunk. So cut that off, clean it up a little. So I'm just going to start wiring some of these top branches. So just going to use two branch principle here. And get rid of some of this foliage now, just so it's a bit easier as I'm coming in with the wire. Just so I don't end up crushing any of this foliage with it. So just to slightly, I think there's a little bit excess kind of open space there, just moving this branch up slightly just to fill that out. But also don't want them all so spreading out so they're a bit kind of staggered in terms of which way they kind of directly come out. Might actually do like this branch pad here, but it's been growing quite vigorously, so I'm going to prune that back a bit. Just so it's generally a bit more in profile with some of these lower branches now. Because they really don't stick out too much. Okay. So yeah, really pruning it back quite a bit, that tends to be my nature anyway, and yeah, I'm sure to get a lot more kind of vigor and growth as we head further into summer, so I'm not too concerned. Get rid of this branch, which is just facing the viewer directly and impeding that trunk view. That branch can stay, and then I've got another two branches there which will just wire together to put in a bit of a better position. And I'm keeping as much foliage on this lower part as I can, just so that it keeps that vigor and hopefully kind of thickens up. So that's that for now. Yeah, so let this grow, put it back out in the yard over summer, and hopefully come spring it'll have grown quite a bit, so I can prune it back a bit more and get some nice, more distinguished branch pads. So now I'll move on to some of the ficuses. So yeah, look, apologies again for such a period without any videos, but look, I do hope that you enjoyed this video or took something from it. If you have, even though I didn't get bitten by the spider, if you could just leave me a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you all next time. And do just make sure that you hit that little bell symbol so you're notified with my future content as I release it. But look, thanks again for your time. Enjoy your day. Bye.